Hi, I'm following along with Paul McCorders Raspberry Pi Pico lessons, and we are Paul's showing us how to graph uh, date li graph live data on the uh, PC side of things. That like we're working up to getting temperatures and stuff like that off of the PicoW. So this is actually on the PC side, and he's using PyQ, PyQt, whatever it's called, and um, uh, he went through the process of putting three sine waves on the graph, just generating them and putting them on the graph, and uh, and then he gave us homework to do something else. But this, I'm just going to try. I had a trouble understanding what he was doing with his code because it's such a he kept going back and forth in the code, and luckily he put it on his website and on his Top Tech Boy website, and I could get his code all in one and could read it. And there are some things that I do like about the way PyQt handles the um, uh, graphing and things like that. And there's some things that I prefer with FreeSimpleGUI, which is the GUI package that I like to use. So after looking through what Paul did and everything, he uses NumPy to calculate a whole NumPy array of the X and Y values that he's using. And then PyQt is able to um, uh, with one line of code can plot the whole code on the screen. That pretty impressive that they can do that. Um, but I had to do things a little bit different in using the Free Simple GUI. So I'll get over to it and show you the Free Simple GUI uh, thing that I had. And so we're just importing math instead of NumPy because I didn't need the NumPy array for what I'm doing. So I need a way of calculating sine. So with the math module lets you calculate sine. Um, the I have a couple variables here. This is the step. That's how many pixels it goes between each point on the graph. And I have a couple other variables, S period and S amplitude that I'm using. Paul only varied the period or the frequency he called it. I'm using the 1 over frequency, which is period, to way I'm doing it. And I'm also able to control the amplitude in my calculation as well. So we're doing that. And we had a lot of variables that we needed to declare that started off with a variable value of 0. So I just did it like that. This is the layout, the easy way. That's what makes Free Simple GUI so simple is you got the graph. You got the graph, you give it a size, you give it a uh, bottom left corner and the top right corner, which is the second and third things in there. And then you have to give it a key and just whatever other attributes you want to give it. The only thing I did was change it to a white background instead of gray. Um, then like I said, I calculated two sliders and give it an initial value and a range and everything. Got that going on. They each got a key as well, and then just have an exit button in it. Um, so I guess I've explained that, but let's go ahead and run it, and you can actually see that those few lines of code can make up the graph. We got the graph, we got the period slider and the other slider. You can see that my graphing is real time. It started from the one side and worked its way across. And then once it got to here, then it started scrolling and adding data. So all the data is being added here while the graph scrolls to the left. So that's how that's working. We'll open it up at the end when we talk about how the sliders work and everything. But and then, like I say, this is creating the layout, and this is just creating the window that giving it a name and a window and um, everything. And like they did in Qt, because you want to graph something every period. So I made a 20-second timer or 20 millisecond timer, gave it a key of T1, and it's going to create an event every 20 milliseconds. So everything in FreeSimpleGUI is event driven. So we'll show you how that works. These two things are just a way to make the sliders work so that it only gives you an event when you let the mouse up. So I had to add those two. And this is just drawing a line across the screen at the 0 level, middle of the screen, just to make it look better, I thought. And then we get into our event loop. So our event loop, just it's while true, but um, this is a blocking, so it's only anytime you get an event, you're going to go through this loop. But we created this timer up there, so we're going to have an event every 20 milliseconds, even if we don't have anything else going on our screen. So we hit the exit button or the X in the corner, it'll break out and close. This is if you change the period slider, you'll get this event and you'll have the new value of that slider. And we're just putting it into the variable. Same way for the amplitude, we're doing the same thing. And then this is where every 20 milliseconds, we're going to get this T1 event clicked off, the timer event, and it's going to do this math. So we have two different things. We have a couple ifs in here because you got how it's going to start at the left and it's going to create the graph as it goes, one X increment at a time, and it's going to calculate the Y based on uh, the number of pixels that we have going over. But then, like I said, when it gets all the way to the edge of the screen, then we have to start scrolling. And the good thing about FreeSimpleGUI is the graph is a window, like a just a block, and then inside that graph is a canvas, and we can slide that canvas. We're sliding it to the left so that we can make room for more data to be shown, and the other uh, gets deleted off the back side, so on the left hand side. So we're doing that, creating that, where all we're doing is leaving the canvas the way it is and moving it a section of 3 pixels in this case, and then we're plotting the next one. The way Paul did it, NumPy's pretty fast and the computer's pretty fast, but he was actually creating all 3 sine waves as NumPy arrays, and then telling uh, uh, PicoW to um, display the whole graph every 20 milliseconds or whatever he had set up to do. And so this, you only have to plot one sine for each line that you're drawing, and just create a line segment. So where they're creating all the line segments at once, we're just doing them one at a time. So we'll get into that in a minute. So this is the math for doing it. It's pretty much the same as Paul's, where you got the pi times 2/3 and pi times 4/3. The only difference is I'm adding an amplitude in here, so a variable that we can adjust on to how big the amplitude is on the screen. Okay, so like I said, when when the numbers are small, so we have an xcalc, which is the number that we're using in our sine calculations, and then we have a regular x, which is the pixels on the canvas. So since the pixels on the canvas are only going to be 800, but our sine is going to keep going, it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and it's still going to draw the sine wave no matter how big that xcalc number gets, because we're incrementing it each time through the loop. So we're doing that. But um, where was I? Yeah. So when we're going to skip this because these two lines only happen after the it gets to the end of the screen and has to do other work with it. But basically all we're doing is we're drawing a line from the last X to the new X. Um, XY, last XY to the new XY. So we're just creating a line segment and then for each color, and that's all we're doing. And then um, like I said, if if we're still at the where we haven't filled the screen up yet, then we want to increment the X value, the X value on the screen so that it moves over and start filling the screen incrementally across. And but we only want to do that as long as the screen's not full, because once the screen's not full, it's going to stay at 800. Um, our calculations are going to stay at 800, so we uh, don't have to do this P step anymore. Um, and then then we have to adjust, the current X's are going to be, current values are going to be put into the last value so that we have last values to read again. And then, like I said, each time through, we're going to increment the X calc so that we get a new sine wave thing. That's basically all it is. So I'm going to run it one more time so you guys, and we can show you how we can adjust it. So we can adjust the period. So this is period. The longer the period is, the farther in between the uh, uh, lobes of the thing. And we can go all the way short with it. Like I say, when it changes over, you have that change over there. So this is the amplitude, so we can make it smaller. And you can change it all the way to go. So anyhow, that is what's going on for me copying what Paul did with PicoQT with FreeSimpleGUI. Like I said, I had to do it a little bit different way, but both ways are valid. So, and I'm much happier working with FreeSimpleGUI. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.